Story 1. I am not someone who is spiritual or religious or who believes in any of that supernatural stuff. I do believe that anything is possible, though. Like, how do I know what the truth is? That being said, one rental I once lived in was consistently creepy. Downstairs was open planned with a kitchen living room area towards one side of the house and a bathroom and laundry on the opposite end. The bedrooms were downstairs along a wall leading from the kitchen to the bathroom laundry area. There was one staircase that led to the second floor that was entirely a suite. I lived here while I was a teen with my brother, little sister, and my mother and her partner. As a teen, I would often be up very late. I still am a night owl to this day. On this particular night, it was a school work night, meaning the adults and my little sister had work or school the next day, so they were all sleeping. My mom and her partner slept upstairs, and the nightly routine was that once Mom and her partner retired to their room, they wouldn't never come back down until the morning. They had everything they needed up there, including a bathroom, a TV, and drinks. They had no reason to come back down once they went up. My little sister also often slept through the night soundly and was small at this point in time. That will be useful information later. Myself and my brother are both gamers. I could hear him mashing away at his controller and swearing at people on the other side of the world while I peacefully played Mass Effect and spoke to cool fictional aliens. While I was in the middle of a cutscene, I needed to go to the bathroom but decided to not interrupt the moment and continued until I completed it. But it tore my attention away enough that I took note of the sound of someone rustling or rumbling around in the kitchen. It sounded like pots and pans and cutlery being sifted through. I assumed it was my brother until I heard him yell at the game yet again. I then got up to go to the bathroom, and upon exiting my room, I immediately saw my brother through the crack of the door to his room, and then looked right towards the kitchen. The cabinets and drawers were left open all over the place. The strangest part was that there were cupboards open that had nothing in them, and not because someone stole what was in there, but because, well, we never filled them with stuff. So why would any one of us open them? We had only recently moved to this place and never put anything in certain cupboards, but we were there long enough that everyone knew which cupboards were full and which were empty. So again, I don't know why any one of us would bother opening them. I went through the kitchen, closing every cupboard, including the pantry. Then I went to the bathroom, checking on my sister as I walked past her room, and sure enough, she was fast asleep. Now, the bathroom was directly across from the kitchen, meaning you can see the bathroom door from the kitchen and can immediately see straight towards the kitchen from the bathroom door when you exit. I remember being spooked but trying to rationalize it. It wasn't my brother. I saw him gaming. It wasn't my sister. She was asleep, and the cupboards were too high for her to reach into. I figured, well, maybe it was my mom or her partner, even though it's out of routine for them to come down after they've retired to their room for the night. While I was in the bathroom, I remember just trying to make light of the situation. I chuckled to myself while I finished up and thought to myself, imagine if all the cupboards were open again. I opened that bathroom door. I looked straight towards the kitchen. I about shat myself. All the effing cupboards, the exact same ones I had just closed not even 5 minutes ago, were all open again. I immediately went back into the bathroom and locked the door. Now I thought, there was an intruder. There was no way it was my brother, no way it was my sister, and no way it was my mom or her partner, because the stairs were right next to the bathroom and were very creaky. I would have heard them going up and down if it was them, but I didn't. I tried texting and calling my brother, but as he was playing his game, he wasn't hearing his phone. So I built up the courage and rushed from the bathroom directly to his room. I told him what happened and that I was worried someone was in the house. And our stupid, ego-boosted teenage minds thought we could take them on. We grabbed cricket bats and walked the whole house and opened every closet and every door, making sure it was clear. We didn't find anyone. So I would like to say it was the wind or a family member, but all windows were closed and locked, and I know none of my family members left their rooms. Upon asking my mom and her partner the next morning, they said they never left their room. We never come back down once we go up. My little sister slept through the night, and I could hear my brother gaming the entire time. The last detail is how the cupboards that we all knew we didn't store anything in were open. Which one of us would open any of those cupboards knowing that nothing was in them? The only logical explanation is someone else was in the house. Or you could say it was a ghost, but the plausibility of that is, well, you know. That's one of the only things that's happened to me that's straight out of a horror flick that I can't explain away at all. One of the freakiest moments for me. Story 2. So every year our group of friends chooses a city to vacay in and splits the cost to stay in a big Airbnb together. In 2022, we decided to go to a city about 2 hours away since 2 of us out of our group of 6 were pregnant. She and I were entering the 3rd trimester of our pregnancies. We drive separately and get to the Airbnb after the first car around 5 in the evening. The house is 3 stories with 1 large bedroom and bath in the basement, full kitchen, living space, game room, guest bath, and 1 bedroom. The top level had 2 bedrooms and no bathroom. The house is old but renovated. The stairs to the basement have no banister halfway down, and the stairs to the 3rd floor are tight, creaking. The wood floor upstairs wasn't the best, having a few holes in the alcove hallway to the 2 bedrooms. So the first car occupants have chosen their rooms. Our single friend takes the basement and a couple takes the middle level, leaving both pregnant women and my husband upstairs in the 2 bedrooms. We swim, hang out, go to dinner, come back and hang out some more before turning in for the night. At this point, nothing weird has happened. Yeah, there were a few creepy 1900 black and white family portraits in the basement, but nothing else. We go to bed, and being almost 6 months pregnant, I wake up and have to pee, checking my phone to see if I can wait until morning. It's 12:27 a.m. The nearest bathroom is on the 2nd level. At this point in pregnancy, my back is hurting, and the bed my husband and I are sleeping on is a queen. We normally use a king. I have to use the slanted roof to get up out of bed, trying to not wake my husband. I straightened my back as I walk across the creaking floorboards, certain I'm waking everyone in the house with the noise. I get to the stairs, and the upper level's bright white paint is reflective with the light, making sure I'm fully awake to make this scary descent down these rickety stairs, ensuring I don't fall and kill myself or my unborn child. Before I know it, I hear my husband's voice in my right ear whisper shout my name like he sometimes does to get my attention. I immediately turn to answer automatically in a whisper, "What?" But nothing and no one is there. Immediately, the feeling of dread fills me. The stairs are in the middle of the house, and the door to the basement is slightly open to my right. I whisper our friend's name in the basement, thinking he's messing with me, but he doesn't respond. I rush quickly to the bathroom in front of me and shut the door. I'm hating that I left my phone upstairs so I can make my husband come rescue me. Well, I do my thing before going back upstairs as fast as my pregnant body can carry me, laying down in bed before asking my husband if he was awake. He, of course, is because my heavy walking in the old floors. I quickly relay what just happened downstairs. My husband is very superstitious. He is interested in anything ghost related. He has talked about doing EVP type stuff in known haunted places to try and catch something. What does he say to his pregnant wife? I'm sure it's fine. Try to go back to sleep. Thankfully, this response was the correct one on his part. I give my stomach a few comfort rubs and fall back asleep. The next morning, we tell our friends what happened as they woke up. The one from the basement first. He told us at 12:30 he noticed a dark figure on the TV screen at the end of the bed downstairs. When he turned to look at it towards the stairs, he saw something rush by him on the bed. He said he freaked out and stared at the wall before falling asleep. I relayed to him what happened to me that night, and we think it's weird, but get our coffee and make ideal chit-chat until our pregnant friend wakes up. She comes down to the second level planning to use the basement bathroom since it's bigger. As we are avid horror movie watchers, we relay the events from last night to her. She then tells us that after she got off the phone with her husband, who was unable to come with us due to work, she set her phone down, falling asleep to only wake a while later to the lamp's chain knocking loudly against the lamp's stem. The bedside table was far enough away and her door closed, and she said it could have been the AC kicking on, but the house was pretty hot since it was summer and older. When she checked her phone, it was 12:30 in the morning. We relayed all this to our two remaining friends, the couple who stayed on the middle level. Neither they nor my husband experienced anything that night. The following night, my husband rented us a hotel room, saying to the majority of our friends that it was for the beds and to make sure my back didn't hurt the entire trip. The hotel did have good beds, but before we left the Airbnb to go to the hotel, he told me and our friend that he is also interested in the paranormal, that he didn't feel comfortable staying at the house another night with me and our unborn child. My husband also offered for our friends to come to join us at the hotel if anything happened that night. We left. I slept amazingly and woke up without any pain, got donuts, and went back to the Airbnb to meet up with our friends before exploring the town. We came in to find 3 of them sleeping on the couch together and 1 in the main level bedroom, but they state nothing happened that night. We stayed one more night in the city. My husband and I were still at the hotel, but nothing else happened. We go home safe, gave the Airbnb a good review overall because it was a nice place and a good location. I know I heard something whisper my name that night. I'm not sure if it was a ghost or something else entirely, but that sense of dread that filled me told me I was an idiot for acknowledging it so easily. Story 3. My childhood home is haunted. Where my house is, there used to be another house. It burned down, and the father of the family who lived there died in the basement during the fire. The family sold the land and the house was cleared away and a new house built over the old basement. My grandmother, who lives in the same town, knows the family. Anyways, my parents bought the new house when I was a toddler, and we've lived there for 20 years. The ghost of the guy who died in the fire, named Charlie, lives in our house, and it's pretty obvious. My mom says that once, when she and my dad were arguing, she took to the bedroom to cool off. She said, "Charlie, I wish you could knock some sense into him." Not 5 minutes later, my dad starts swearing from the living room. Apparently, the shelves above his chair had fallen and knocked him in the head. They've never fallen before or since. Any animal we have, a couple dogs when I was a kid, my cat now, will stare down the hallway for long stretches of time, then go bananas chasing something from the living room at one end of the bedrooms at the other, like they're playing with someone. I personally have heard footsteps, big, heavy footsteps, like someone wearing work boots, walk up and down the hallway, especially at night. It scared me as a kid, but now I just take it as Charlie checking on our safety. My grandmother, while visiting us one time, woke up in the guest bedroom to a shadow man standing in the doorway. She hid under the blanket for a few minutes, then decided it was safe. When she came out of the blanket, the shadow man was at her bedside, leaning over her. She hid under the blanket again until she fell asleep. The most concrete evidence for me was the time Charlie scared something off. My bedroom was always the coldest room in the house, and often I felt uncomfortable in there, like I was sitting next to someone who disliked me. One day I went to grab clothes for a shower and walked right into a wall of evil halfway down the hall. I can't describe it fully. Nothing looked different. I just felt like I had physically crossed like a barrier into a force field of hatred. I knew without a doubt in my body that I was in danger, and without thinking, I hauled my butt to the opposite end of the house, to the kitchen. I stood at the stove, shaking. I was about 14, afraid to look down the hallway in case I saw whatever was down there, but afraid that if I didn't look, it would sneak up on me. I eventually convinced myself that I was being a baby and started slowly through the dining room and towards the hall, afraid the entire time. All at once, I felt a strong breeze blow by my left side, going down the hall towards my room, like how it feels when someone runs by you and barely avoids running into you. And I thought for a second that I heard a man's voice. I continued down the hall and I couldn't feel the evil anymore. I went into my room and it felt lighter and more comfortable, actually, than it ever had in my life. Well, I thanked Charlie, and from then on, I've never felt that uncomfortable feeling in my room. I think he protects it now.